Avi, I said, I'm thinking, I've not been reading enough, so I thought I will start this. He was very excited. He said, you must do it, this is a great idea, and we can do so much and all that. I said, I just want to start with doing it because I've just not been reading. The moment I have to discuss it, there's a deadline and I have to finish the book. Yeah, just gotten out of the whole habit of reading now. I felt like I was plateauing and stagnating in life. So,
it's a good initiative.
Yeah, let's see where it goes and everything.
Let us try to make it great. Let us see.
Hey guys, the most exciting time, second book discussion, and guess what? Like I promised, here's Anand himself to discuss the book. And that's Anand Neelakantan right there, live in front of you, and we discuss his book Roll of Dice. How many of you have read it? I hope you all have, and I hope you have interesting questions, because I have a few questions for him. So I'm going to start while you guys write in and make it interesting. Let's make his mind work. Let's make him work hard for this. So Anand, from engineer to a cartoonist to a writer, author, what is this journey? How did it happen?
Engineering was an insurance which my parents took.
So basically it was because your parents said you need to have it. And
I was among many idiots, I was one idiot, like 3 idiots. thing.
Yeah.
So engineering was a forced this thing which it's like a job insurance. That's only from a small town.
Correct.
That's one thing. Either you are very bright, you become a doctor. If you are
so it's either an engineer or a doctor.
Or a doctor.
But the passion was always writing.
Always writing, cartooning, and all those things.
That was the passion always.
Yes,
so,
of course. Even now it is.
Okay. But tell me, so you never did any other like an arts course or anything of that sort, a writing course, nothing of that sort, completely self-taught that.
Yeah.
So what was it? Did you read a lot as a child? Were you doodling
the time
always?
I remember, I used to read a lot.
And doodle a lot.
And doodle a lot. I used to get caught for drawing cartoons of my teachers and other things.
Do you have a cartoon of me by any chance?
I can send you. As of now, no.
Okay. Please, autographed is what I wanted. So did you think you would be a writer when you grew up, and did you want to be a writer, or it was just that you were told that you had to be an engineer and that was what was there in your mind?
See, I used to write small satire pieces, especially in Malayalam, basically. I'm from Kerala, so I used to write in Malayalam a lot of satire, small parody songs, all those things I used to write in some other name.
Okay. Oh, okay. What was that name?
No, I used to put, I was living in a place called Kannur, so I used to put Anand Kannur. It's a very small town, so I used to put that.
Okay.
So no, not many people even in my home state know that the same person who used to write.
Now you know it, guys. You know it. When you find anything that's Anand Kannur, you know who it is actually.
So there was nothing serious like this. It was all small short stories, satire on politicians and all those things. I used to do that.
So what made you do this then?
But this is something right from my childhood I had passion. I used to get attracted towards the villains like Ravan, Duryodhan and all those people.
People create heroes, they write about heroes, people talk about them. And that was the first thing when I saw Asura, in a bookshop when I saw the book, and it was, I said, yes, the loser's point of view, and it's always, you're right, we always talk about it, that history is written from the Victor's point of view and everything. But here you were, first time I saw a person who had actually written it from the loser's point of view, and it was so interesting. And more than anything, the fact that was interesting, more than that, the moment you open it and you started reading it, or the synopsis of it, there was so much emotion in it. So what made you think of it like that? Obviously you lived those characters. So people live heroes. How did you live a villain?
There is no hero and villain in any story. You take a character, when you are writing about a character, that character is a hero. Now in the latest book, Shivagami, there are at least 40 characters I created, at least 24 characters are there. So each viewpoint I am writing, each chapter is on each character's viewpoint. Same thing I have done for all of the dice also.
So what did you do? Like you have your character sketches, you have your characters ready, or do they just flow out as the story flows?
What happens, I become the character. It's more like play acting. I'm not an actor, but it's like play acting. So nobody comes near me. My wife doesn't come, my dog doesn't come, nobody comes, kids don't come. Nobody comes near me. If I'm Ravan, I'll be acting like Ravan at least when I'm writing.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that you're living the character. But when you read what you write, you can see that you're living that character. There are so many nuances, that little touches that can only come if you're living it. Like as an actor, unless you don't live that character, those little nuances don't come in. And that's what is there in your writing. So you're obviously being Ravan for a while. So, yes.
Ravan, I have been Duryodhana, I have been Shaguni.
So is it, Ravan who was actually good, or is it because Anand was living the Ravan and hence Ravan became what he
See,
became?
I believe nobody is good or bad. So that thing is always there. But it's really fun when you write to become the character and do it. Then you go to the depth of their mind and you leave those characters. Otherwise, the writing will become flat.
True. See, for example, roll of dice, you have, everybody looks up to Pandavas, have been these absolutely heroic figures and all that. Like a small thing like Bhim being a bully. How did you imagine that? Why did you think he was a bully? What made you think
Mahabharata, it is there. Bhim used to play very roughly with Kauravas. He used to bang Suryodhana when they were small. Suryodhana didn't have Duryodhana, as we know, but his actual name is Suryodhana. You cannot imagine any parent putting Duryodhana, Dushasana. Du is always with negative.
A negative connotation.
So no, we will not put our kids' name as Durabhiman or something like that. No.
Absolutely.
So Suryodhana was his name. And he used to get bullied. That's there in Mahabharata.
Okay.
Only thing is that it's a childish prank, but now once you are not the bully and you are the guy who is bullied, you start thinking like that. Then the other fellow naturally becomes the bully and the villain in his mind, this child's mind.
Absolutely.
And
let's say like a Yudhishthir, who, it's all about dharma, how wise he is and everything. And, you touched a nerve in there, which I remember whenever I would read about Pandavas, Yudhishthir somehow in his overtly self-righteousness irritated a bit, always. And I thought, why is it that it irritates me? That maybe, do I think that somebody can't be so good, that's why? Or is it because I can't live up to this and that's why it irritates me? So that was something that I would always think. And here you were, absolutely, you had touched that nerve exactly right. And it was an irritating self-righteousness. So what was it that made you touch that nerve, get there?
I'll just put an example. In a class, you are studying, as a kid when you are studying, who was the most irritating character? The best pet student of teacher.
Always, and I was never that.
I also was never that. I was the last bencher, howling scout. So always these people will write your name. First person will be Anand, who has created trouble in the class.
Yeah, or is eating in the class, or is falling
I'm taking a very mundane life example. In Mahabharata, as you rightly pointed out, the most irritating character is Yudhishthira.
Yeah, because he's always there.
He's always right.
I know the answer. He's always doing that.
He's the best student or the best person.
Yeah.
It becomes, and once you strip out all this divinity from it, and you just put it, one technique which I do, I just changed the character names. I don't put them Duryodhana, Krishna. I'll put X, Y, Z, A, B, C. Then you start analyzing it. And all your justification goes for a 6.
You just said Krishna. I mean, what you have written about Krishna, did you ever get into trouble? Did you get trolled or?
No, trolling keeps happening. That's something.
But how did you? Because Krishna with his
Krishna is not even in Roll of the Dice or Ice of Kali. Krishna is not villain. When I am writing,
no, he's not a villain. But what you have what you're saying about Krishna, which is, the whole thought process and the way you have portrayed Krishna is so different from the way most of us look at.
So, Sonali, if you see it, when I am writing Krishna's chapters, it's not like that. There's a subtle difference between when Krishna is telling something. Krishna is always right.
He's logical from his point of view.
Krishna gets criticized when the chapter comes from the side of Suryodhana.
But also the way the relationship between Balram and Krishna, from everything that childhood, the stories that I keep going back to, the stories that we hear as children, they've always been so thick as brothers.
That is in the childhood.
Exactly, but what I want to know is that they were so thick, hanging out together all the time, and yet as they grow up, they have radically different views according to Roll of Dice.
Not only Roll of Dice, as for Mahabharata itself,
sure.
I have not created anything.
How do you think that happened? I mean, how could both the brothers think so differently?
Usually siblings, rarely they are, that itself one irritating thing about Pandavas is that all siblings think alike. It doesn't happen usually.
Oh my God. You're right.
Naturally, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
So naturally, there could be what happens is as per Mahabharata, Balrama went for a pilgrimage because he didn't want. He was always partial to Suryodhana. Okay. Always as per Mahabharata itself. And he went for a pilgrimage because he didn't want the war to happen.
Correct.
Whereas Krishna has his own justification for the war. But the question comes, like, this is not my question. Gandhari asks, what did you get after the war?
Yeah.
You got only devastation.
Absolutely.
And then Krishna says the law of karma will not leave me also. And which
Yeah.
actually it does. Because
That's how
Mahabharata,
it is, yeah.
Mahabharata or Ramayana is not about good versus bad. This good versus bad concept itself is very alien to Indian culture.
Yeah, it's all grey.
It is always grey.
It's
It's
all
all about karma. There is nothing called grey also. It's all karma. So whatever Rama does in his avatar, and talking about the theological logic itself, Rama does in his avatar, the Vali who he kills, he's
Yeah.
a Jara
Absolutely.
in Mahabharata.
But you know, that's another thing, the way you've tried Jara's story and the dog who's called Dharma. Where did you pick that up from? Where did that come into the story from? It's woven so beautifully that you feel like you were actually watching this whole thing happening. How did you think, fine, Eklavya is there. These are all the characters that are there. Where did these two characters come from?
Jara is there in the Mahabharata. Jara is a person who kills Krishna.
Okay.
And Jara is supposed to be the avatar of, or the next Janma of Vali.
Okay.
So what Rama did in that avatar, hiding behind a tree and killing him,
Jara
he is paying the price in this avatar.
So what about Dharma, the little dog?
Dharma, the little dog, is always on the street. Dharma is always on the street. That was a concept. And
Fab!
Dharma, now see the irony. It's, any story is about irony.
Yeah.
Yudhishthira always wanted to be Dharma with him. So he says, I will take the Dharma. As per
Yeah.
Mahabharata also, it's like that. He
Yeah.
says that I want to take the dog.
Yeah.
But the dog comes back.
Yeah.
Dog doesn't go with him. Dog is, and the Dharma is blind.
Yeah.
Who makes it blind? Eklavya and Arjuna makes it blind. So these are all the nuances which I have
Beautiful.
put.
Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. So how much have you been, when I when you talk about yourself, you say that you've been very, very influenced by the mythology and the things from your childhood and from the temples and your, definitely what you talk about, your father pointing out certain nuances to you and what you think are so completely different. I mean, there's definitely a very, very personal thought in it. So how much time have you spent thinking over these?
My entire lifetime. Since I heard Mahabharata, that time itself,
These questions were always
there. Even though I have not got the answers. What I have done is I just put the questions to the public.
The best, one of my lovely lines that I like, the part that I like is also when, you start talking about how Krishna starts telling himself that, yeah, I could be the god. And how beautifully you've portrayed that actually, the way he starts propagating the whole thing. And when you look at today's times, there are so many of these characters you feel are there in today's world also. Should I ask you a dangerous question? Who do you think today's Krishna would be?
Today's Krishna could be anybody. The most successful politician could be today's Krishna.
Most successful politician, yeah. So say today Mahabharata happens, would you have a different ending for it?
No. Mahabharata's endings never change.
It's
keeps
always
happening.
devastation.
It keeps happening. It is always devastation and again rebirth. Mahabharata, if you see, it's again rebirth.
So what you mean to say that the cycle is never going to end and we're
It's
never
never
going to learn
ends.
from
See,
it?
why
and-
Mahabharata is so appealing to us is because it keeps happening. Sambhavam yuge yuge. It keeps on happening again and again.
Why don't we learn from it?
We never learn, no. If you learn,
Why
then
do we keep doing the same thing again?
that's a human nature. That's a human nature. You never learn.
Yeah.
If you see Indian freedom struggle itself, like Shashi Tharoor has written that beautiful book in which he has taken Mahabharata as a base and done the entire Indian freedom struggle. Then suddenly you find the similarities. Yeah, Rajavadi as Bhishma and all those things you immediately find.
Yeah.
Gandhi
you
as
do.
Krishna and all those things you
Yeah,
find it
but
again.
that's still, but in today's day and age, what would you still kind of find all these likenesses here in the
Definitely,
digital age
definitely.
Yeah.
Every day, every era it happens. Even now the entire thing is
also?
what
Even
is
now
happening.
Dharma is on the road.
Yeah,
and
you
blind.
see that even Gandhi Prastha,
Yeah.
it's the same thing which is happening. See the questions which they raised 5,000 years before.
Yeah.
The development against, they destroyed the entire forest and
Yeah.
built a city.
No, even beautifully what you've pointed out, your women characters, like be it Gandhari, be it Kunti, Draupadi, very strong women, and they were there, and from what we read also, they were part of the Sabha, the political process. And in there you hear, when you give the examples, and you know that earlier women did much more. And here we were in Mahabharat, where women were already losing that status that they had. And what do you think? Where are we today? Have we lost it further?
We have. We have lost it further. Now, if you really see, it's a big struggle for any women to come up in politics itself. Rise of Shivagami exactly deals with that. How will only women comes from an orphan to how she reaches the position of Rajamata. Again, this is Mahabharata alone in a different format.
And the way you've put it very so beautifully about how we've been, the morals, the dogmas, the principles which, when you stick to it very rigidly, and the caste system, again, used love beautifully, shown love in a beautiful way. And there was one more thing that I really wanted to ask you on this front, which was when you look at Draupadi and polyandry and polygamy, and what do you think about it? Today we are so, even though today we say divorces are so much more rampant, marriages are not lasting, relationships are not lasting, etc., etc. But it was never so rigid. So why did we become so rigid, do you think?
I think it is the influence of two things. One is Islamic invasion. The position of women changed in Indian this thing, and being very frank. Second is the Victorian morality, which we think as Indian morality.
So what we think westernized liberal is actually not.
Actually Indian. Actually,
we are the ones who are liberal.
We used to be liberal.
But
in the last 1,000 years, we became very closed society, and we are further becoming a closed society. The morality what we say now is Victorian morality, nothing less or more than that.
And it's very neo and the polyandry and the polygamy and the whole thing has been, it's so openly talked about and it's so easily dealt with.
We were never uncomfortable with any of these things, including sex. We were never uncomfortable in all.
But tell me, Kunti, her affair earlier, and her the Pandavas not being the thing. So how did you figure out that, giving the examples of taking the godliness away from the fathering? How did you do that?
If you see, the entire book had taken out the entire divinity and magic. There was no magic or anything. I just used the logical way how the story would have. I considered it as a historical fiction.
Okay.
If you take it as historical fiction, I am writing an era in Indian this thing. Then all these things, I don't have any magical astras. I don't have any anything magic, sun coming and giving birth to somebody, all those things you don't have. Once you remove that, these people become humans with all their faults, all their goodness, all their badness. Then it becomes an interesting story. Otherwise, what we do, we put everything under carpet. Okay, divine, this thing, she suddenly got pregnant. She again, the Mahabharata, there are other women who are not so popular. Like there is a woman called Madhavi, which I have written a play in Malayalam, which will be coming as a short story soon. She was sold. She is the daughter of Ayati. She was sold 4 times by her husband to various people for 200 horses. That comes in Mahabharata.
Okay.
That's
human nature. But that's what that was one thing that I found. Mahabharata was so much more human, and Ramayana in that sense was much more divine.
No, Valmiki Ramayana is very human. What we think as Ramayana now is a Bhakti era reinterpretation where Ram
became a god. And
Kamba Ramayana, Tulasidas Ramayana, all are products of those era. I'm not saying right or wrong, but Valmiki Ramayana, Sita is a very powerful character.
Yes, absolutely. I think it's coming back, and more people are finding it.
I tried to do that in Siya Ke Ram, where the first 100 episodes I wrote, but the people's acceptance will be different.
Valmiki Ramayana. You got influenced by the TRPs?
I quit.
Good one. I'm sure we have some questions coming in, and so what are you asking? What are the questions? Can anybody tell me?
So Danish asks, Hi Sudali, my question is for Mr. Neelakantan. Amongst the bunch of contemporary Indian authors who are presenting their own interpretations or retelling of Indian mythology, your niche seems to be telling the story from the other side, that is that of the vanquished. This would allow the reader a far more balanced outlook to the conflict and humanize the so-called villains of the piece. However, was this your only goal with this thought, or with this book in particular, did you also try and make an anti-war allegory or statement?
Any good books are anti-war. Very rarely good books. Even Mahabharata itself is an anti-war book. That's why it was called Jaya, victory. What could be more ironic? Nobody won the war.
Yeah.
And the first question which comes, innocently as a child I used to ask this, if Dharma is the one which won in the Dharma Kshetra, Kurukshetra, if it was Dharma which won, it should have been a good age, not the dark age of Kali which should have dawned.
Absolutely.
It's a very logical
Absolutely,
question.
yeah.
Then if it was the good which won, then why an evil age dawned? It should be the good age. So all the entire books are anti-war, all books are anti-war. This is also an anti-war book, like many other books.
You know, this Ratnavel Ponnaswamy is asking, Anand Neelakantan sir, did you apprehend any backlash?
See, Indians have the capability of holding a different viewpoint.
Okay.
Unfortunately, we are losing it. But I was fortunate enough that nothing of that sort has happened, because our culture is all about debate.
Yeah.
We have been.
I agree with you, yet there are a lot of people who are getting a lot of backlash, and you haven't. That's worth thinking about. I personally think that you've just given such logical reasons, and so beautifully you've put what you've put across that nobody can deny it. And maybe that's why you've not faced the backlash.
That could be
And
one
of
reason.
course also your charming personality and the lovely smile.
I don't know about that, but what happens is, I have not made Rama or Krishna or anybody into a villain as such. What I have done is, when they are talking, they are heroes in that. So it's
You
only a
make them
viewpoint.
human, but you know, nowadays, not just nowadays, but a lot of people can't tolerate even their gods being turned into humans, you know, which you've done, and you didn't get a backlash. We're very happy, and we hope that remains always, and you keep writing the way you're writing.
It is not only that, anybody who is well versed with Ramayana or Mahabharata, they know that in the original it is like this.
Yeah.
These are the later day interpretation, especially TV interpretations, which made them so black and white.
You know, I think we should have a great Mahabharata Ramayana debate with him being one of the debaters. It will be fantastic. We should do that. Definitely. Ha! Guess who's asking these questions? Anand, you were also planning to write for young adults. When
Ravi.
can we expect that? Yes, you guessed it. Ravi is asking this question.
This we had discussed, young adults. I had almost submitted it to Westland. Then the Bahubali happened.
Oh.
So after these 3 book series only, I will come back with that young adult series.
Ravi, you got your answer. After these 3 books, then the young adults get their
The
chance.
one has come. No, next
Yeah,
2
more books. We're waiting for that. Daman Chatwal says, an absolute brilliant epic from a whole new angle. What was nice was Suyodhan sees the parrot not as a target but as a living being to be cherished. I think all children are innocent and raw, and it is we as parents and circumstances which make them bitter, rude and dictatorial. I couldn't agree more. Beautiful, yeah. I think Daman has a great point of view, and Daman, I'm going to have a surprise for you, because I love this point of view and I want everybody to hear this. This is what it is. This is what we do. We force people who are fabulous writers into becoming engineers. We force children into becoming rude and dictatorial and, you know, make them lose their innocence. So, can I do that just now? Daman, this is for you. The next book, Rise of Kali, from this, signed by Anand himself, and I'm sending it to you. Can you please send us your address, because we would love to send this to you.
How do I pronounce?
Daman, D-A-M-A-N, Chatwal, C-H-H-A-T-W-A-L.
Can be a bit slow. I'm not such a fast writer.
See, he's not a fast writer, he's just a great writer. C-H-H-A-T.
C-H-H-A-T.
A-T-W-A-L.
W.
A-L. Daman, please send us your address so that we can send this copy to you.
You want to show it to the camera?
Yes, of course.
Today 17th, right?
Yep. Here it is. And let's see the cover also. This is for you, Daman. Send us the address.
Thank you, Raman. That's a great comment.
Yeah. Then, someone has more to say. Secondly, I would also like to add, if you compare the present society with past, our society is still conservative within. Anything said against any religion still leads to riots. Irony. Agree. My question is for this is Danish Baghdadi, and he says, my question is to Mr. Neelakantan. Amongst the bunch of contemporary Indian authors who are presenting their own interpretations, retelling of Indian mythology, your niche seems to be telling the story from the other side, that is that of the vanquished. Did we not do this?
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, you asked me that. Sorry, guys. I always still not used to not having reading glasses, and I'm without it again. What interests both of you in Mahabharata? Anshul Gautam asked that. Sir, what inspired you writing this book? Of course, Mahabharata, but how did you think like this? What inspired me about Mahabharata would be that, again, like you said, an epic drama, human story, so many foils, what is right, what is wrong, and while it raises a lot of questions, I always found a lot of answers in it also. So in at various points of time in my life, it has given me answers. When you really actually look for it, you find it in there. That has been my thing, though I have not read it as deeply and thought about it as much as you have.
For me, it's the other way around. The more I read it, the more questions it gives me, more than the answers.
Really?
That is a mark of a great book, if you ask me. Only a guidebook gives you answers.
No, I get the answer that don't expect it to be black and white.
Yeah,
don't
that's right.
expect,
That's right.
Nobody is going to be perfect, because from when you're growing up, and especially for me coming from the background I was coming into a profession which was so completely different, the adapting took so long that these were the things that gave you strength to say that, it can't be so bad. Look at the positive of it, So that is what I mean when I say answers.
Correct.
It gave me a positive outlook.
I think among all the books written ever in the world, I think this is the greatest book ever written, Mahabharata. That's my personal opinion.
So Ramayana or Mahabharata?
Mahabharata.
Mahabharata.
But Ramayana is more influential, but more thought-provoking is Mahabharata.
I agree. Yes, it is. It's more difficult, I would say.
It's more difficult.
Yes. So, who is your favorite Indian author? Which genre do you read? What are you reading right now? Do you consider yourself to be in competition with Amish, Devdutt Patnaik, Ashok Bankar, etc.? Guess who has asked this question?
Who is that?
Ravi Subramanian. But Ravi, I love these questions. I want the answers to all. Let's start with favorite Indian author.
Favorite Indian author is again in Malayalam, Bashir.
Okay.
I read a lot of Malayalam books also. So
Okay.
Bashir is one of the great
What
authors.
does he write?
He writes about life. He's a he was a Sufi saint. He was many things. He was
interesting. Is
now
he
he's not alive. He's translated a lot of books. He has translated. He's a great writer of Malayalam.
So have you ever translated his books?
No, I not.
But are there good translations that you would recommend?
I read in original. I don't know. Translations are there.
So
I
will you
don't know.
find it for us? Maybe
Yeah,
we could,
definitely.
we should try it at some
He's a
point.
legendary writer. He's no more, but he's a legendary writer.
Okay.
Then followed by M.T. Vasudevan Nair, again, who has done Mahabharata from, he's a Jnanpith Award winner, again in Malayalam. He has written Bhima's, Mahabharata.
Okay.
The entire thing from second turn, it is available in translation also. He's
Okay.
another writer. What was the next question?
The next question was, which genre do you read?
I read everything.
Everything?
Anything and everything.
Something must be your favorite. What is your comfort reading?
Thrillers, I read a lot.
Uh,
Mythology, of course, I read it. Other than that,
You don't
mythology,
read Ravi's
Mahabharata.
thrillers?
I do.
What are you reading right now?
Right now, I simultaneously read 2 or 3 books. Now I am reading non-fiction also. I read a lot. I am reading Indica now.
Okay.
It's a geological history of India. It's a beautiful book.
Wow. Okay.
Then
Interesting.
Ivory Throne. It's a historical book that also I am reading. That's also a great book.
So tell me, what is it? Are you in competition with Amish, Devdutt? I mean, okay, let's not put it competition. Ravi, very bad. But what do you think of Amish, Devdutt, Ashok Bankar? They're all touching the similar topics. They're writing mythology in different ways, and very, very interesting ways again. So
I
what
think
do you think?
all are different.
Don't
All
give me
are
a
different.
diplomatic answer.
No, it's not a diplomatic answer. All are very different. Ashok Bankar is a pioneer in this. He started much before. Amish and I hit almost together. Devdutt writes in a different genre altogether. He is more than fiction. This is interpretation and
And it's
non-fiction. It's a
again,
fabulous
yeah.
way he interprets it. Competition, I am in competition with myself. I cannot be competing with others because my genre is totally different.
Okay.
It's
So,
not the
Ravi,
same
you
thing.
got your answers. So, guys, thank you so much. It has been lovely and fabulous answers. And I'm going to go through some more questions. We'll type in answers. We will not be doing that bit live, but I will do some more of it. And I have cups here or mugs here that are the book club mugs and another book. And what I'm going to do is when I do more questions that are coming in as I type in the answers, I'm going to choose 3 people more. One is one we've already done, whom if you autograph these, we are going to send them to them.
Okay.
The mugs and your book.
Yeah, great.
Shall we do that?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we are.
No names.
No names.
Oh, how do you?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah.
One winner I want to my latest book also.
That's for me.
That I will give you, definitely.
No. This book nobody else can get. I'm sorry, this is mine. I want it autographed and I want it. I'm not parting with this at all. So before I start this book, I have one question for you.
Yeah.
How long will the next book take? Because you know, it's when you start reading a book and then you have to wait for the sequel.
I think it should come by October, November.
Sure?
Yeah, I'm writing
Promise?
it. Definitely.
So I'm starting this then.
Yeah, please.
Can I get an autograph on this now? Perfect.
Here it is.
Mine. And mine. Got it? So we've got this, and who do you think is going to get these?
That's great.
So this is what is going to go.
I think I should get one.
And this. Yeah, you think so? I'll give you another one. We can keep these for
Your
our
autographed one.
our lovely members, and I'm sending you some.
About that, this thing,
Sorry?
our class.
Yes. Are we ready for that? Can we? Yes. So there is a lovely little thing that I want to catch Anand on. While we were talking, he's discussed something which is a fab idea. What he wants to do is, what we think we should do is, do a little workshop class for budding writers. So we come here, Facebook is agreeing with it, and we come here live and we do a little session where I'm going to be the first student and we select various topics and break it down, and we do sessions for all the budding writers out there who are interested in this class. Just get ready for it. We are coming out with this soon. It's a fantastic idea. I'm announcing it here when he's sitting here so he can't back out of it. And we are going to do these. So look forward to these sessions.
Great. Thank you.
Right. You want to just say bye to everyone who's watching?
Bye. Bye.
Bye. See you
Bye.
guys.
See you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my mic is falling.